One of my plans for today was to get the J.A.S Motorsports door panels to sort of tie up the back of the car to make it look a little bit more intentional, clean it up a little bit, and remove all functionality from the back doors because there's no need for me to have them anymore. I was looking for them. I was put on by Jason at Wide Open Throttle. I was trying to get access to him, but he was telling me, oh, you gotta put a call out. You've just placed your order over the phone, get it sorted out. And I was planning to do that. This morning, I called up J.A.S Motorsports directly, thinking that was the route to go. Didn't get no luck. They're based out of Italy, so either it's timing or the fact that people in Italy work maybe 13 hours a week. Was really confused. So I looked up the panels online to see if maybe they were being sold on eBay or anything like that, but it doesn't seem like this is something that people have had access to yet. And I'm really I was just fucking dead set on getting these things. So I looked it up and it was showing up on the Dream Shop. I went to place the order, but for some reason my computer wasn't allowing me to log in on the Dream Shop. It was just locking me out. I didn't know why. I didn't even make an attempt to log in. Really confused, so I called my dealership. They weren't answering, whatever. I called another dealership that was very far away. They don't have those parts. They just don't have the racing parts. They can't even search up those part numbers. So thought I had tried everything. I was like, okay, that's everything I can do. But I posted on Instagram about the effort I was making, and one of my mutuals, they were like, hey, let me know when you figure it out. And I was like, all right, I will, but doesn't seem like I'm getting anywhere. So I reached back out to Wide Open Throttle. I know you're working on stuff and you're busy, but if you can get this part for me, I'll just pay you and we'll get it done. And he was about to. He was trying. He was doing what he could. And so I really appreciate him for that. But I ended up discovering that if you just sign in and you can create a membership with Honda Racing for free, just as a regular old person, and buy their racing parts and have them just shipped to your house. Beautiful. I'm gonna go outside today, even though I just placed the order right now, 15 minutes ago. I'm going to go and just remove the factory door panels. I might as well just get that done now, and once the J.A.S Motorsports panels come in, I'll just slot them right in. Doesn't matter how beat up the car is, I'm still gonna mess around with it as usual. So this is what's coming out. Nobody ever used my back seats when I had back seats, so it's no love lost. The back of the car is gonna be full on just race car, and it's gonna be sick. All right, it is disgustingly hot out. I don't know if it's got the same bolts in the handles as the ones up front. Oddly, a little bit more difficult than I thought it was gonna be. Once you've sort of scuffed these up a little bit, you start to scratch when you miss. There goes a clip. There goes another clip. Oh shit. So yeah, it is the same situation back here as it is up front. You've got to pull this control panel up for the window switch panel. Once you get that off, it reveals a screw. You pull that out. Oh, there it goes. Easy. So, one more step I don't want to forget to add. I would recommend, I'm just going to seal these up with some electrical tape just to make sure no moisture or anything get inside of them. It's a good precaution. Also, probably zip tie each wire closer to the door panel so that there's no excess rattling. I will determine once the panels come in if the door handle or door pull is going to be retained or not, and if I need to keep that speaker right there. This car does still need to have road function, so I would prefer not road function, but utility of a road going vehicle. So being able to listen to music and having all the speakers sort of intact would be ideal, but if it needs to come out, it needs to come out. I think that making this car cool is more important than me listening to some music, because I don't even listen to music that often when I'm driving. So I was just in the garage trying to organize some things and and get all my stuff ready to take up to the shop, parts that'll fit in the totes, and then of course the two things that will not. Then I decided, you know what, despite dying here, decided to pull off the door pull. I'm gonna do the passenger side right now. It's a pretty straightforward removal. Just make sure you have the right sized driver bit so that you don't end up wearing out any of the bolts. I'm probably gonna end up using a socket for this because it's not really cooperating with me and I don't wanna run any risks. For that, I'm gonna just pull that out. I was debating if I was going to, but I feel like it's just the best thing to do. I did just get an update from J.A.S Motorsports that the door panels are currently out of stock and we're looking at about a 4-week wait time. I'm hoping that that is a situation where they're trying to under promise and over deliver because a month is kind of a long time. Generally, I don't think it matters that much. These are already off and they're not going back on. I'm just gonna pop out the left side. The only thing that may require some tutorial is that these two cords are hooked into a little plastic bit. It's pretty intuitive, so you'll probably figure it out, but just in case, you just have to pinch the plastic clip that's holding it in place and then pop these bits right here off. Once you've gotten them both popped out, you rotate the whole assembly to an angle where these little like bearing things will just sort of slide out. If you're doing this yourself, you will likely be able to figure it out just fine on your own. Yeah, the wires are clipped in right here. You just pinch them and then they pop out. Just picking these up, it doesn't feel like you're losing much weight, even though it isn't necessarily entirely for weight reduction itself. I did want to do more than just take out the door cards and replace them with something else. I did actually want to have some sort of other purpose for that. Once again, super simple. Gonna do the same thing to the connector that I did to these, just to make sure we don't have to be concerned about any moisture getting inside. I'm gonna hit that with some electrical tape. 8mm socket, twist this bolt off, it pops out of place. And you just sort of lift up and out for the clip on the bottom. It's exactly what you would expect. Try and do it with one hand. There we go. Yeah, they just lift up and out. Beyond the electrical tape over the connector, I am zip tying them a little bit closer to the door itself, just to once again avoid any excess rattling. Hard to say how much weight is actually reduced through this measure. I'm gonna say about half a pound there. Okay, I don't really know what a full pound feels like, to be honest. I should bring a scale out here, but I just don't feel like it. I want to say you're probably saving like 4 pounds. 5, 6, maybe 7. But this isn't really a big weight reduction measure. It's like a cool OEM thing, well, it's not OEM, obviously, but being able to buy parts off of the Honda Dream Shop that's built for their TCR race cars is pretty sick, so I'm probably going to be doing that quite a bit more often. There's not a ton of things on the Dream Shop as far as their race cars go that I want, but it's definitely a cool opportunity to have. It's rounding out the back of the car. It's obviously very much race car, HRC inspired. I figure this is the way to go about it. This is the correct way to go about it. Had to go full 9, no shortcuts, take everything out. We got the car angled in a slightly more conducive angle for doing this job. Just looking at the J.A.S Motorsports door cards, it does seem like I'll have to fasten this switch closer to the door, or at least put some sort of cushioning somewhere, just because if I do lean it up against the door card itself, it will rattle, and I'm trying to avoid that. I did get a rivet gun, so I will be able to slot these in place using the rivets. It is right there. So I take it, this piece maybe just pops right out. Yeah, so both those pieces have to come out, and then this just gets drilled into place. these are the rivets I got. It's going in. It's going in there, but just not quite enough. Okay, gonna hit it with a little bit of touch-up paint. Honda 64 NH0. That's championship white. I am almost certain of it. Don't take my word for it though. Ooh. Thinking I gotta go bigger. 3/16 is the size you want. You can skip the portion where you have to figure out what size you need. So I'm gonna do this and Alright, so best advice I can give you, find some skinnier rib nuts. Whatever size will fit these, but I ordered the rib nuts before these came, so, you know, and I've already drilled my holes. So, yeah, guess I'm just gonna have to shave these out a little bit, just hope for the best. Please be easy. Just go easy on me. If all of my calculations are correct, that should be the last step to getting these on the door. First is the first attempt, which is the experimental attempt, and then the second time I do this, this should all be very, very simple. All the rivets are seated. I guess seated might not be the right word. I don't know if this was the best way to do it, because they're probably going to get knocked out. But at least so one side is in, all tightened down. I don't know if I'll be able to get this weather stripping back in. Uh-oh. Yeah, it's feeling like no. Exactly how I pulled this out. Look at the other side. The window jostles around a little bit more without that stripping there. You can hear it. I don't think that'll make much noise once I'm driving. All right, so that's in. I am a mess, but luckily, it'll be much easier to do the other side since I have the experience I need. Therefore, I'm not gonna record the rest. I'll just show the finished product once everything is in. Keep in mind, you will not be able to run the weather stripping or this little plastic trim piece without cutting off this bit right here. And keep in mind that if you have the right size riv nuts, you probably won't have to deal with this. But if you don't, you'll have to trim just a slight bit out of the door panels themselves. Not a big deal. They're in. And they look cool. Now, this isn't gonna be something that's like particularly impressive to most people or even very interesting, but I think that this is pretty damn trick. All right, so this is what the interior of the car looks like. That's exactly how it should be. The door panels are in, and the car looks so much more complete. It is also pitch black outside. I didn't actually take that long to get these in. I was just paid a visit by Milady. Now, 3 hours later. You don't have to do the riv nuts. If you place this order with Honda, they will reach out to you and let you know exactly what you need. I'll throw up a screenshot of exactly what hardware and washers they will, you know, tell you to get. But I like the riv nut method. I think that it is probably far more secure and also cleaner looking, as well as a little bit more permanent, because this is a permanent endeavor for me. All right, this is what we've got. I just think that this was absolutely necessary for the back of this car to look complete. Everything back here is fully race car, and I think that this was the final touch. I'm not doing the door panels up front because I do not only want to maintain functionality, I also like being able to rest my arm right here. So that's not gonna go anywhere. Business in the front, party in the back sort of vibe. I would have loved if the J.A.S Motorsports logo was still printed onto here, but it's not. I'll live. I'm super stoked with how this looks. There's really not much else to get into.